Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Harakakwadash Mama. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity around the four corners of this earth. I'm the Car Karab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lion's Den camp. And now today I'll be coming out with a little quick lesson. The title of this lesson is A Strange Woman. Of course, you know that's twofold. Talking about a physical woman and these false philosophies, beliefs, and doctrines. But this lesson here, I'll be talking about the false philosophies, strange woman, and these doctrines and different beliefs. But without further ado, I'm going to get right into the scriptures and let them speak for themselves. This is Proverbs chapter 2, verse 10. It says, when wisdom entereth into thine heart thy mind, la'ab, and knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul. When the knowledge is pleasant unto thy soul, discretion shall preserve thee. Discretion, cautiousness, respect, fear of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that will preserve you. And understanding of his word, the understanding shall keep thee. The understanding of his word shall keep you. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh forward things. So-called white man, Esau. He's that evil man that speaketh forward things, perverse, crooked things. You know, the discretion and the understanding of the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, that will preserve you, that will keep you from going into these false doctrines, that will keep you on the path of truth and righteousness. Verse 13, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness. And that's what he does. So the so-called white man does. He leaves the paths of uprightness. And 2/3 of our people, they do the same thing. They leave the paths of uprightness. They leave the path of truth to walk in the ways of darkness, to lay and deal with the stranger, to commit Salakia, fornication with the strange woman, who rejoice to do evil. This is 2/3 of our people, and the so-called white man, the biblical Edomites, which is Esau, who rejoice to do evil. They rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of the wicked. They delight in the perverseness, the crookedness of the wicked, whose ways are crooked and they froward in their paths, whose ways are crooked, whose ways are perverse, distorted, and they in their paths. They go the wrong way. This is 2/3 of our people. They go the wrong way. They commit fornication with the strange woman. And the so-called white man is the author of the strange woman by coming up with all these forward or perverse doctrines that are contrary to the scriptures, that don't line up with the scriptures, such as Christianity, Mormonism, Islam, so forth, Catholicism, so forth and so forth. Those are all strange women, according to the scriptures. This is to deliver thee from the strange woman, even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, to deliver you. The discretion will deliver you from the evil man that speaks evil and forwardness. Discretion will keep you in the understanding of the words that'll keep you from these things, that'll deliver you from the strange woman, these false doctrines, these false philosophies and different beliefs. Even from the stranger which flattereth with her words, even from these doctrines that sound good. And oh yeah, you know, Jubilee, like they say, like I used to hear a lot when I was, you know, in church growing up, Jubilee preaching, he be singing out the sermon rather than preaching and bringing forth the word. So that sound good. It get people all worked up in their emotions rather than ushering in the truth and the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. So the discretion shall preserve you, and the understanding of his words will keep you. It'll keep you on that right path, which forsaketh the God of her youth. Verse 17, and forgetteth the covenant of her God. For her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. Now that is this strange woman, by the way. Her paths, her house inclineth unto death, spiritual death. And her paths go unto the dead, the spiritually dead, because 2/3 of our people are spiritually dead, because they have committed fornication with these strange women, i.e. these false, vain philosophies and doctrines and beliefs. None that, verse 19, none that go unto her return again. None that go unto her, none that believes in this foolishness return from her. They go into this false doctrine and they never return from it. Why? Because they die spiritually. And neither do they take hold of the paths of life, the paths of the truth, the path of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, which is life. Proverbs chapter 5, I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, my son, attend unto my wisdom and bow thine ear unto my understanding. The Heavenly Father is saying, listen to what I got to tell you. Listen to me. Follow my guidance. That thou mayest regard discretion, that thou mayest regard respect, cautiousness, being circumspect, and that thy lips may keep knowledge, so that your lips may keep knowledge. Listen to the Heavenly Father. Do what he says to do, so that you may regard discretion, and your lips may keep knowledge, so that you may bring forth the truth and the righteousness of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Verse 3. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. See, that's these strange doctrines, these false doctrines. It drop as a honeycomb. It sound good. It's smoother than oil. Oh yeah, it gets you all worked up in your emotions. But verse 4. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her end is destruction, a spiritual death. Everybody that goes, they don't return no more. If they leave the paths of righteousness, just briefly paraphrasing, if they leave the path, you know what? I ain't gonna even paraphrase. I'm gonna get it. It's like it. Bear with me for a minute. It's like it. Just bear with me for a minute. Right here, this is Proverbs chapter 21, verse 16. It says, the man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. And let's go back to that Proverbs chapter 2. When you wander out of the way of understanding, you remain in the congregation of the dead. Now, it says, for her house inclineth unto death, and her paths unto the dead. Verse 19, none that go unto her return again, neither take they hold of the paths of life. So, when you start believing in these false doctrines and beliefs and philosophies, you remain in the congregation of the dead when you walk away. And everybody that goes unto this strange woman, these false doctrines, they don't return. Neither do they take hold of the path of life. They don't take hold of the truth. They stay in a dead state, a spiritually dead state. So this strange woman, her end is bitter as wormwood. Her end is a spiritual death, destruction. Her feet go down to death. Her steps take hold on hell. By the way, this is Proverbs chapter 5, verse 5. See? Her feet go down to death, spiritual death. Her steps take hold on hell. A spiritual death. And eventually, you stay in that, it will lead to a physical death. Quite literally. I'm going to jump to verse 8. Remove thy way far from her. Come not nigh, or come not close to the door of her house. You hear these false doctrines, these crazy beliefs, don't deal with it. Walk away from it. Walk away, because it is nothing but death, spiritual death, and eventually physical death. This strange woman has taken down many people. Many people believe in the strangeness of this strange woman. All these false philosophies and doctrines that don't line up with the scriptures. This is Proverbs chapter 7. Verse 1. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments. The Heavenly Father is telling you, follow my instructions. Keep my commandments and live, and my law is the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers. Write them upon the table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister. Call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. There you go yet again. Keep you from the strange woman. The Heavenly Father says, bind my instructions, my laws, my statutes, commandments up with you. Keep them in your heart. Keep them in your la'ab, your mind. Reflect on them. Study them, that they may keep you from the strange woman, these false doctrines, these left field beliefs. I'm going to jump to verse 24 of Proverbs chapter 7. It says, hearken unto me now, therefore, O ye children, and attend unto the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline to her ways. Go not astray in her path. This is talking about these false doctrines. For she hath cast down many wounded. Yea, many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. These false doctors have cast down many men, have slain a lot of our people spiritually. I'm going to jump back to Proverbs chapter 6. Now, this is Proverbs chapter 6, verse 20. It says, my son, keep thy father's commandments and forsake not the law of thy mother. Don't walk away from instruction. Bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. When thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. The Father's saying, if you bind in your heart my instructions, my law, my wisdom, my commandments, it's going to lead you. When you sleep, it shall keep you. When you wake it, it's going to talk with you. It's going to continue to lead you down the path of righteousness. The Heavenly Father's word, his way, will lead you the right way. For the commandment, verse 23, for the commandment is a lamp, a light. And the law is light. And reproofs of instruction are the way of life. The Heavenly Father saying, my laws, my statutes, my commandments, my correction is a benefit unto you. Why? To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. These false doctrines. You will know the truth. You will be able to decipher and understand the truth. And with that, Shalom.